Hey everyone, it's Patchworth again, and I wanted to give you another update on the show, my life, and basic goings-on of what is happening recently. If I sound a little hoarse, it's because I spent all day recording. It's been a pretty rainy, dreary day all day, so instead of going out and doing any busking, I decided to stay in and work on a lot of stuff for the show. That being said, I did manage to get 2 game worths. One of which I have to have a small correction for the price, which is the Pac-Man one, which instead of being $20 is actually $10, but about $15 if you buy everything, which I'm still not pleased with. But I'll get into that later on. And I also did one for a Puppy Games game, I believe, Ultratron, which I'll have those up eventually. It's been a while since I've done the game worths, so hopefully I'll be able to get those edited out and up to you in time. So, yeah, other than that, I actually did spend a lot of time working on a couple of shows for Halloween, Oregon Trail, which I've been talking about doing, and I also started They Bleed Pixels. The problem with They Bleed Pixels, of course, is my setup is so bad that when I was recording, it kind of slowed things down a little bit, so it's not necessarily indicative of what the gameplay is like. Just bear that in mind when you watch that. Other than that, it's a really good show, and rather, it's a really good game, and something that I recommend you checking out. It's got a really dark backstory. On that same vein, the last couple of days in my life, I did actually go out to the bar with Chip, which is something I haven't had a chance to do, and a couple of other friends. We go and do trivia every Monday, and usually lose pretty horribly. The name we used last time was Captain Crunch and the Serial Killers. And then the next day, we actually hung out, because he works night shifts, so he just stayed up all day, and we ended up playing Elder Sign, which is a very interesting tabletop game by, let me see here, it's an Arkham Horror series by some company. I'll send a link in the show notes, but it looks really complicated until you actually sit down and play it, and then it's really simple, and it's a lot of fun. I do kind of want to see if there's any expansion cards or expansion decks for it, just to get an idea, but basically you are a series of investigators from 1 to 8 players, and you're investigating a living museum that is going to be releasing the old gods, and you have to stop them. And it was pretty interesting. I think it would be more fun with multiple players. Because Chip and I were kind of on the same wavelength with some stuff like that, so not a problem. It was a lot of fun, and we did a little recording for Scribblenauts, so we got to see his mind at work for that game. So I'm looking forward to getting to that point. And I also, this is just, if you weren't already convinced that I'm a huge nerd, another thing that I've been obsessed with the last couple of days is I got back into a book by Lynsay Sands, and it's the Hunter series, the Rogue Hunter novel, which is a series of 3 books, which is the Rogue Hunter, the Immortal Hunter, and the Renegade Hunter. And if you've never heard of Lynsay Sands, she basically writes a lot of romance novels. This particular one dealing with Atlantean vampires. So yes, in my spare time, I like to read a lot of trashy romance novels. You're welcome, ladies. I'm available. And really, other than that, the only thing that I've been really excited to see, and I just saw the update right now, is with another webcomic that I really enjoy a lot, which is Questionable Content, which is essentially a story about a bunch of indie, sort of hipster kind of kids that are really into obscure music, and there's actually a lot of surprising amount of drama with the characters, but there's also a lot of humor, And the world starts off as kind of like, yeah, we're these indie kids, and you know, obscure music, and the style is pretty rough. So you know, bear with it until it gets good. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not big into music, so I missed most of the references at the beginning. But then we are introduced to a bunch of robots, and they've got like these little anthro PCs, and the cast of characters is very large. I mean, it's been going on for quite a few years, and they post 5 days a week. But what's really had me interested is Martin, one of the main characters, has been working at a college library for a couple of years now. And he's got 3 interns, 2 of which have crushes on him, and the one that is currently the main star right now, spoiler alert in case you are looking to read this, one character has a huge crush on him, and she is actually transsexual. And as you know, that sort of topic makes me very interested, and I love seeing transgender and, you know, let us say gender fluid characters being treated with respect and treated not in a ham-fisted way like a lot of the media does. I mean, webcomics are basically one of the last mediums where it's not corrupted by, let's say, Hollywood ideals, and you can pretty much do what you want in a way that people can enjoy and really express the way things are. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I mean, for as goofy as it is, I mean, with some of the main characters being robots and holograms and whatnot and what have you, to have a character where it's just like, yeah, it's transgender, it's not a big deal, it's just who the person is, and this is how they react in essentially what can be considered like real life situations. This is how they would react in real life. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch the progression of the relationship. I'm really curious to see what happens. I won't spoil that for you, but you know, if you're not a fucking bigoted asshole, check it out. It's definitely a lot of fun. I obviously I'm repeating myself, so high praise for questionable content. I'll leave links to that in the show notes as well. Other than that, Halloween. Halloween is coming. I'm already getting in the Halloween spirit. I've got a few things getting ready. If I could, I'd try to do like some webcomic stuff or webcam stuff for the show in clown makeup, but I don't know how. But I'm going to be doing a series of Halloween games. A lot of stuff might be put on hold while I just do spooky monster-themed stuff. Yeah, and that's pretty much where I stand right now. So another short one. I don't really think I've got anything else to report. I've just been, you know, having some fun, trying to be a little bit more social. The only other thing is I'm going to try and get my tattoo filled in, so that'll be all finished. And, you know, if you guys are really that curious, I can show you that later on. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hopefully you'll join me for the next one, and until then, cheers all.